you still find Pan-African television. In some parts of Europe and Southern America as well, we are live, loud and clear. Let me run you through today's topic for conversation. A lot has been making the rounds, but the key ones that would focus on, of course, Nigeria's former president, Muhammadu Buhari, has been laid to rest. That is going to be our African story. Then we proceed to other conversations. We'll come back to Ghana, where the what has been christened as D-levy, or the 1 cedi on a liter of fuel, or 1 cedi on petroleum prices, is to take effect today. Yes, so the Ghana Revenue Authority would start the implementation of that today. It starts today, it takes effect today. We shall be looking at the Ablekumanos violence, the violence that marred or that characterized the rerun of some 19 police stations, because the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, and the AG, the Attorney General, that is, they have been asked to probe that violence. And then Attorney General orders Yoko to probe Yamin Abanga over illegal mining allegations. Abanga I think is a deputy national chairman of the National Democratic Congress, while Yamin is the national organizer of the party. And of course, this government says that they want to be accountable, and it means that they'd have to probe their own as well. So despite the fact that these are members of the National Democratic Congress, the government wants to leave no stone unturned in fighting the canker of corruption. And so, Yoko has been directed by the Attorney General and Minister for Justice to probe these two individuals. So these are topics that we have found conversation worthy on the show this morning. As usual, your suggestions, your opinions are welcome. They are vital to the success of this show, so keep them coming. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'll be more than pleased to hear from you. If you are not watching from the comfort of your homes, alternatively, you can do that on Facebook, YouTube as well, www.youtube.com/Pan-African Television. Let me know what your thoughts are. I'll be more than pleased to hear from you. This morning, I've been joined by Dr. Valentin Mensah and Professor Isaac Buedi. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Many thanks for coming. I'm looking forward to a very fruitful discussion. Of course, I understand, or I know the weight of your brains. Of course, people in academia, a doctor and a professor for that matter. And so I am cocksure that this show is going to be very, very insightful this morning. But let's head into our first topic for conversation. We are starting on a rather somber note, if you ask me. And that is because former Nigerian president, the president that Bola Ahmed Tinubu succeeded, that is former President Muhammadu Buhari. He died in London, unfortunately, a few days ago. His mortal remains has been sent to Nigeria, and he has already been buried according to Islamic norms. And so the president received him at the airport before he was transported to his hometown in Katsina. I want to believe that that is the correct pronunciation of the name of that state. He was sent to Katsina for burial. But a lot of people have been saying a lot of things. And when he left office, he made some comments about some of the things that he probably did. He may have stepped on toes. Of course, he may not have gotten everything right. And so he apologized to people on whose toes he has stepped, and he asked for their forgiveness. According to Islamic norms, when somebody dies, what you do is to pray that God forgives their sins and then grants them, Jannah to Firdaus. I don't know if that's the right phrase or the right sentence, but of course he's no longer with us. It also tells us about life and the fact that one day you could be here and then the next day you are reduced to nothing, just dust and bone. I'll start a conversation with you, Dr. Valentin Mensah, of course, because you are just seated next to me. Your thoughts on happenings in Nigeria, the life of Muhammadu Buhari, the fact that he was a dictator and then came back and then, became a constitutional or a democratic leader in everything that, happened in Nigeria under his reign. Of course, there was the good, there was the bad, there was the ugly, and SARS, and all of that. But of course, we can also extol some of his virtues and the good things that he did for Africa's most populous nation.
Thank you very much. I'll start by greeting your cherished viewers. And then, Prof, I'm happy to be with you. I'm humbled to see you here again. Okay, so for the loss to the Nigeria, may his gentle soul rest in peace. And I think it's a great loss to the Nigerian Republic. And my condolences to the people of Nigeria and even West Africa. He came like the most African presidents with a lot of ideas to change Nigeria. And that, as you said, he might have stepped a lot of toes when he came out with his policies and directives like our president is doing now. I was sitting in my in my sofa and I was urging him on and praying that most of the changes he wanted to effect would be successfully implemented. And as expected, it didn't take too long for the Nigerians to fight back. But I think he had very good ideas for the nation, and I hope that the successors would implement some of the ideas he had, because if Nigeria is successful, it will have a favorable impact on Ghana and West Africa, for instance. So it's a shame that he didn't live on like former President Obasanjo, so that the Nigerian people and the other West African nations would benefit from his experience. But then it's God's calling, so we will just pray for his soul, that the Lord keeps him. But it's a loss, and it's unfortunate that when he came to power, he wasn't that energetic at that age. He couldn't effect most of the changes that he had thought of. But,
right. Let's go for a short commercial break. Once we return, Professor Isaac Boedi would also share his thoughts on the man, and then we proceed to other conversations. Do stay. Right, welcome back. I think there was a little mix-up, but that has been rectified. But let me go straight to Prof. On the life and legacy of former Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari.
God bless. Good morning to you, and good morning to my good friend. It's been a while. Good to see you. Your shirt looks very nice.
Thank you.
I don't know where I can get one. It's very nice. It's quite an unfortunate incident. It is a great loss to the family, to Nigerian people, and then to Africa by extension. We don't want to wake up in the morning and hear such news. But yesterday we heard this news, quite unfortunate. Buhari, his legacy spans across decades, from the days of his military rule in 1980s, changed the status quo to become the president of Nigeria at a point in time. Before I continue, I just want to ask this simple question: that how should history remember him. And all African leaders, how do you want history? How do you want us to remember when you are gone? You know, it is a very good question that we need to ask everyone, not even our political leaders, ourselves as well. Because we are born today, the next day we are no more. We're saddened by the death of our former president, Alormasor, may his soul rest in perfect peace.
Nigeria, I mean, remember Nigeria also lost the president in office. Yar'Adua died. Yes, Yar'Adua died also in office.
Yes.
Before Goodluck Jonathan took over. Yeah.
Okay. So it's quite unfortunate to hear this. Sometimes we can look at the person as a figure and then take up time to discuss his legacy over a period of time. We can count on several reforms in Nigeria. We can sometimes have a balanced perspective about a person. He did so well when he became the president. Economic-related matters, linkages with other African countries, did so well. He also been criticized for handling the security matters in Nigeria, anti-corruption issues, and I'm happy finally he had to apologize to individuals that he steps their toes. Sometimes we don't need to get there. We don't need to get there. We don't need, sometimes when you want to say, sorry should be something that should be difficult for you to say. Mm-hmm. Not that you don't want to, but you try to do the correct things so you don't say sorry
at all. Yeah.
Too late. But gentle enough, he apologized. If I've done anything wrong to anybody, please forgive me. I'm a human. These are things we want our leaders to imbibe. These are things we want African leaders to know. That in course of your administration, if you think you've done something wrong, don't even try to do it. So that on that day, you come back and apologize to people. So, a sad, unfortunate situation, but we have known him over a period of time. Infrastructural projects in Nigeria, issues on, one thing we cannot forget about is the economic hardship Nigeria endured under his tenure. Mm-hmm. Quite unfortunate. But today, we are here. African leaders must learn a lesson out of the situation and see how we can govern our country. Mm-hmm. So, bless. These are a few comments I'll give. Rather unfortunate, mm-hmm. but there's a lot of lessons that we can pick out of this departure. Mm-hmm. And African leaders must also watch the space.
Right. Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. May his soul rest in peace. Let's come back to Ghana. Of course, there are lots of issues that we ought to address. Many things going on in our country that we ought to talk about this morning. Would zoom our focus into the levy, as christened by the opposition in government, the New Patriotic Party. They call it the levy, yes, because they had an levy which was vehemently opposed by the then NDC opposition. And of course, consequently, when this government took over the reins, they have abolished it. But this levy on petroleum products, 1 Ghana cedi per litre, is supposed to address our energy shortfalls. I mean, the debt that has been incurred in the energy sector, several billions of dollars for that matter. And so whether or not this is going to, help defray or offset that debt, well, we do not know. But its implementation is today. It was supposed to have happened, I think 2 weeks ago. I think on 1st July it was supposed to have happened, or even somewhere in, I think, June. But because of the fact that government still needed to have some engagement with players, it was postponed. Now it is happening today. I'm going to start with you, Prof. Prof, on this matter. I mean, you are an economic person, okay? Now, this levy, supposedly, like earlier mentioned, okay, is supposed to be addressing our energy shortfalls. We are in the debts, I think, in excess of $4 billion, more than $4 billion, if you ask me. And ESLA was supposed to take care of this. ESLA was supposed to take care of this. Unfortunately, it was collateralized as to whether or not even the amount that we're getting from ESLA was going to be enough to address this shortfall. That is a whole conversation altogether. But move this, and if you look at the projections that have been made, that this is what we are going to accrue from this, levy, would it be enough, or would it suffice in addressing the energy sector shortfalls in the long term, Doc?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
yes.
Okay. Yes, the Prof is busy.
Yes,
okay, thank you.
Yes.
I think the addressing this energy sector shortfall is quite important for the nation, and we have to look at things holistically. Okay, so the energy sector, we have challenges with the service provider, ECG. We've all seen the irregularities that have to be resolved. But then the government have found the need to look at that, as well as look at the gap at the same time, because you cannot resolve the irregularities of ECG when you don't have the resources to pay for the materials and good for providing electricity. And service providers or the IPPs have to be paid. So it's a good idea that or a good policy that the government has come up with a measure to plug that gap. But then I think I've had the experience or the observation in our neighboring country, Cote d'Ivoire. I just recently I took pictures of the fuel prices in Cote d'Ivoire when I was exiting Cote d'Ivoire, and at the border I took another picture. The first thing you see is that in Cote d'Ivoire, the fuel prices of all the filling stations are the same. I wouldn't say that we should go there, because that is a regulated area. An economist, I've got an economist here, he will say that it's because of regulation. But what I remarked that was significant, and that our economists, I'll ask them why haven't they addressed that, is the fact that they ensured that the price of diesel was much lower than that of petrol. And then you will ask me, most people may lose sight of that, why they are doing that. If you look at them, their food inflation is lower than ours. And they've always managed to do that. They take that tracking of goods as very important, like Adam Smith said. Tracking of goods, if you are able to allow the citizens to track their goods and barter or exchange, then you don't need to look at poverty. Because everybody, a human being, has the instinct to produce something and exchange in order to get what he or she needs. So our economists have lost sight of that. That is why they've allowed the government to price diesel higher than fuel. When you go to the UK, they can do that because they track their goods by rail, train. By an African country where you don't even have public service, you don't have buses to transport people. You don't have a railway to track goods from the hinterlands to your cities. Then you go and price diesel significantly higher than your petrol. That is very wrong, and it's an indictment on all economists in the country. That should be addressed immediately. And you sit down and you complain of fuel inflation. Oh, sorry, food inflation. That is what is causing that. The trucks from the village that are cutting plantain, what do they use? Do they use petrol? They use diesel. And if the diesel is much higher than petrol, the price of diesel is much higher than petrol, then by the time they get to Accra, the plantain in a village in the Ashanti region would have been about 5 or 10 times. The price would have been 5 or 10 times. That is what is costing us in Accra. So this has to be addressed, and I'm very happy that Prof is here, and I'm throwing the challenge to him that maybe he should take this up. We need to go and see what our neighbors are doing to control. We can always complain about our food inflation, but we are causing it. We need to look at the structure of our economy and our infrastructure. If we don't have the means to transport our food, why do we make the only means so expensive? So it's a good idea, but the government needs to look at diesel. It could be on petrol, but for diesel, I wouldn't agree that it should be higher than. Yes, so this is an opportunity for the government.
So I actually thought it was, so it is not a matter of, I know a lot of things influences the prices of goods and services, or the price of a commodity. If the product or the commodity is more scarce to get, it becomes more expensive. That is why gold is more expensive than water. That's why the fact that water is more important. I remember the gold water paradox in economics class. So it is not a matter of fact that diesel is more difficult to come by.
So yes. So let me answer this as well. You see, when we in economics, for example, those basic lectures we talk about externalities. We have negative and positive externalities. So even if diesel was scarce, what is the use of diesel? Will diesel benefit the population? Will it benefit the population in terms of what the reduction of the cost of food and other materials for production? If it will, then even there's a need for subsidization. But we don't even need to go to subsidization. Let's look at the pricing. Let's see where we can adjust to reflect the importance of diesel. Okay, petrol can be taxed higher because it could be, I would say, in quotes, it's luxurious. But then diesel, most of the public usage of transportation is diesel. And we have to have a serious look at that and ensure that this problem is addressed. So, in summary, I would say it's a good initiative by the government. It's going to be quite expensive for the users of the road, but then I would wish that it's adjusted for diesel so that the impact on inflation will not be that significant, because the food materials for production, their costs are influenced by diesel. Yeah, so it's a challenge to Prof. Yes.
Commercial. Once we return, of course, Prof would also take this conversation on. You stay.
It's not
Hello, Madam Bola. How are you and how is Lagos?
Ah, Kwame, Lagos day. How is Accra?
Accra is fine. We can't complain. Are my fabrics on the way?
Yes, sir. I hope my money is also on the way.
As we speak, my accountant is sending money to you and others at GCB.
Money don't enter.
That is a lifesaver.
Yeah, Lady D. What's up, baby?
Tia, I got the money.
Oh, that's beautiful. It was fast.
Oh, and guess what? It was so easy and faster than I thought.
I'm busy right now. Let me call you back later, yeah? All right. Love you, baby.
See you soon. Bye.
From country to country, make seamless transactions across Africa with GCB. For more information on PABs and how to get started, call toll-free on 0800 422 422. GCB, your bank for life.
Welcome back. We are having a conversation about the implementation of the 1 Ghana cedi on petroleum product, which takes effect today. Dr. Val has given his insights on this particular matter, but we would also tie it into that decision taken by the presidency yesterday, where the presidency has decided that all appointees, all government appointees, will not be entitled to any more fuel, subsidies. Perhaps this de-levy is motivation to that decision taken by the president. But let me take the thoughts of Prof on this matter. We'll look at the economics bit of everything that is going on, whether the 1 Ghana cedi is too much, whether the Ghanaian people are unhappy about this de-levy, or we are just taking it in our stride because of the appreciation of the cedi as against the dollar. Prof.
God bless. Years ago, this issue would have been a major issue in our country, but in recent times, it's quiet. The whole country, you're quiet. Is it that the government is enjoying this, the goodwill? That's another discussion. Or is it because those who were holding the neck of the previous administrations have now been appointed and they are looking at their books and where to put things right, so they are not talking? The MPP who are supposed also to talk are saddled with their internal matters. For that matter, the space is quiet. I mean, you don't hear anything in the country now. What happened at Blakuma? We didn't hear anything. This increment in fuel prices has gone quiet. So it means that something is happening. Either the government is enjoying that goodwill from the citizens, or those who were the proponent and the antagonists have gone quiet and they are solving their own individual matters. But when we do this, governance becomes a problem for this administration. If you're also not being critiqued as an administration, then you have also an issue. You don't need to be happy when people are also quiet, because you didn't know their direction. Yesterday, you rightly mentioned that the president is ordered that his appointees, the fuel allocations must be cancelled. So there's one aspect on the expenditure part, which have been taken care of. It's an expenditure. It's been taken care of. But the president passes the other side and increases revenue. So in the budget, you reduce your expenditure and you increase your revenue stream. So what are you doing? I don't know the quantum of the cancellation, the forward is given to appointees. But 1%, I don't know the quantum, the value, but we can do those calculations later on. 1%, is it a good money, a good percentage? So what is levy about? It's just a tax imposed on a product. It could be a diesel, a fuel for the people to pay. In fact, in Ghana, the fuel component, if you check the fuel component, we have something on price stabilization and recovery It's part of the the component. Energy debt recovery levy is part of it. Yeah. We have something on sanitation pollution levy. It's also part. We also have road levy. It's also part. Energy sector recovery is also part. So look at the dynamics. Just one fuel component. What can we do as a country? It's been announced, and the implementation is today, that going forward, one city, is it one city? Yes. Will be added. So when you go to the fuel pump, one city will be added to the liter. Wasn't the same thing that was suspended some time ago? Yes. Well, the same thing? Yes. So what was the reason for the suspension? We are not yet told.
There was consultation, but they have not given us the outcome of the consultation.
And I think also fuel prices. No, it had got to do with the Iran-Israel conflict and the fact that Iran's shores was a critical point for cargo of fuel, and that really momentarily distracted the fuel market, the global fuel market, and so they have to look at means of sustaining the gains that we had made. I mean, looking at the CD and then how it had reflected on the dollar, and also for the fact that that made us see a reduction in fuel prices at the time. So they put a pause on it so that they could assess the situation. So
become a minister.
But I think that if the government does not come out as using that period for consultation to tie the knots, then the government would have lost the opportunity. I mean, the government should have come out and said, when we suspended, this is what, and we did A, B, and C to ensure that it's going to benefit, or it will give much more benefit to the citizen. That is what the government should have done within the period, and the government should have communicated to the people. That would have, the acceptability would have been enhanced. So that is what I would expect to do in that period of suspension.
Prof, what also we have been told is that this would not see a change in the price. So I don't really understand what is going on. You know, the driver unions wanted to actually embark on a strike. When this levy came, when the bill was passed and then the president assented to it, they wanted to go on strike. But government had to do broader consultation, consult them, sit down with them, have a conversation with them. And because they had reduced prices of their fares, what were they now going to do after reducing price? Increase again. So they decided to embark on a strike. And now government decided to consult them, they've had conversations. We have been told that there won't be an increase. So when you go to the pump, despite the fact that this levy is taking effect, you may not necessarily see an increase. That is what we've been told. I don't know if that's true.
No, that one I would... they said that we wouldn't see an increase because of the fact that the dollar
that was the reason.
Yes.
So the impact.
So the impact, but that is not their doing.
Okay.
So
there will be an increase in the pump price.
Yes, if the value of the CD falls, we will feel it. We will feel it significantly because a CD on a liter is not a CD on a gallon.
Yeah.
So I'm sure when people start feeling it, then they will come back and talk. At the moment, maybe they haven't done the math.
And yes. But then also, Prof, I mean, we can have this conversation, but also is the fact that perhaps the reason why people are quiet, you've been asking, why are people quiet? Perhaps the reason why people are quiet is that just only a few months ago, just 7 months ago in January, fuel price was way more than it is currently. Even if you add the 1 Ghana CDD levy, it was still more than what it is right now. So perhaps that may be the reason why people are quiet.
We are all speculating. And I'm happy that the question I asked has also brought a lot of discussions on the table. We were asking, the government has a right to tell us the reason for passing this. and the consultation outcome of the stakeholder engagement is a right prerogative, right of the president. We don't need to be told. But you see, when it was announced, this government was bashed. And when he decided to withdraw, people accused him for the optics. You did that for just to let people know that you care about them. So if you have taken other decisions that, look, I won't go ahead again and do this, I think it's right to come and then let us know what caused the delay. But, let's leave it like that. He has the right to do what he wants to do, but the point is that it will be introduced today.
Yes.
Whether you feel it or not, who will be witnesses? Two, if you drive to the fuel pump to go and buy fuel, and you are told of an amount to pay earlier to what you've been paying, you will then know. But let's look at the implications of this, any increment in fuel prices. What are the implications? I think we have three layers. One, to the individual, two, to the business community, and three, to the government. And you see, for the government, anytime you want to increase fuel, we cannot hold the truth of this administration. One, you do that because you want to increase your revenue stream. That's the bottom line. Any government will not be interested, let me pile levies, taxes on my people for no reason. You do that when you have a shortfall. In fact, we know that per our budget, about more than 70% of our revenue are often linked to taxation. Taxes. The other ones are about 25% or so. So it means that we use the taxes to fuel our expenditures. So if a government tells us you want to increase revenue, maybe you might have seen a problem somewhere, that there's a need for me to increase my tax position so that I can rake in more revenue to support our projects. Good. But we shouldn't forget its implications to the individuals, to the business community, and to the country. And we've mentioned the country portion. Let's look at the individual. Once you do this increment, immediately the price of fuel will go up. Immediate reaction. The truck drivers and the rest will transfer this to the ordinary man on the streets, and we will be the ones who pay. We've been looking at inflation over the period. Once that thing triggers, the transportation triggers, it affects our food inflation position. That's one implication. There are other alternatives. Look at the business community. What happens? In fact, every quarter, PURC or so, they have told us that every quarter or so, they are going to increase the cost of electricity, the water. And today, we have fuel to go up. We are in July. Very soon we get to August. We are going to be slapped with other tariffs again. Well, what happens to the business community? They are likely to reduce their production capacity. And when we reduce production capacity, employment, what happened to them? Would they be able to take in more people into the job sector? That's another discussion we can. But the issue is that when a government is voted for to be in charge of administration, your duty is to solve problems. If this tax is the one that will solve a problem for us as a country, fair, let's move on. But sometimes watch the unrest that will come when you impose taxes. And I have complained several times that, look, our administration sometimes can look beyond just taxes. What can we do as a country to add value to what we export? We don't necessarily increase taxes. Taxes, good. Countries have developed through taxes. Countries have also not been developed through other revenue enhancement. They have also developed. So the solution to our problem as a country might not only be in terms of taxes, because it impacts dire. And if you don't take care, look, this increment, just as I said, today we are quiet as a country. That's fine. But it will get to a point that the citizen, when they start feeling the heat, they will talk. They will make you unpopular. If you want to rule this country through only taxes, they will make you unpopular. Taxes have pushed government out of their seats before. Kenya, recently, it's in Africa that when we pass a tax, people must die because we are overburdened. So the advice is that our leaders must find other alternative means of raising revenue without necessarily increasing our tax burden. Because if it's a matter of bringing other people who don't pay into the net to let them pay, that is fine. But those who are paying, when you keep increasing those taxes components, it becomes a problem. But another thing is that if it's about fuel, is it possible for this administration to shift to other alternatives? For instance, electronic vehicles. I've seen few in town. Can't you move to that area, depending on solar, to power these, so that you reduce the pressure? We want the government well. In fact, if I tell people that our common enemy is not NDC and PPO, it's poverty, high cost of living. Look at our roads. Today, you drive, you go to Abosokai, buy parts, fix. The next day, or 1 month, you go back again. Are we happy with this? No, because the roads are bad. Government needs money to do the roads. Where would the government get money? We must find other alternatives. Because there are a lot of ways that we can find revenue to show up our expenditure. If you reduce the expenditure component of our ministers, what is the percentage? Who account to who? Who is going to account to who? Do we know how much? So when you stand in public and say, I've cancelled, it's fine. Everybody will accept. But tell us, how much would that be in terms of the budget line that you have reduced? We don't know. Just that it's cancelled. Then after that day, we'll be hit with an increment of fuel. That is, you reduce your expenditure, you increase your revenue. So what are we doing now?
I think the fuel allowance, let me please give me the opportunity because it's a very important topic. Yeah, I think it's the right thing that the government has said, but like they say, it's in the implementation. Yeah. See what Prof has said, that fuel expenditure of the government is quite significant. Yeah. When we sit down and analyze, and this is what I would have expected the government to do. Because if you look at the government's fuel bill, it's not only the appointees. You've got the appointees to the government departments and agencies, the ministers, you've got the MMDAs as well, the assemblies, you've got the state enterprises. Okay, so now, I would say that if the government is going to stop the allowances, then we need to engage those officials and then agree, because, for example, Prof may be a government official as a dean of a government institution. He may have that fuel allowance. And it's been, at the moment, it's considered as part of your remuneration. Okay, because based on our history, the basic salary has always been insignificant. And it's based on all these allowances that they are able to take something home. So, Prof, I benefited from that when I was in the private sector. But no fault of mine, I haven't worked in the public sector. I've audited institutions there. So, I'm in a better position. I would say a better position, even though to analyze this situation. And I know that mostly we've treated these allowances as part of the benefits and not as providing fuel for the employee to more or less travel to do government business. It's just being considered as money. And even in the private sector, where I was a GM before I retired, it was the same. I had a huge amount as fuel allowance, either coupon. And it was just like remuneration. So if the president wants to move away from that and then engage the beneficiaries and find alternative means of compensating them, that's a good thing to do. Because we see it as a part of their remuneration, but there's a lot of abuses in it as well. You see that people exchange coupons because they are giving more than they need.
Yeah.
They exchange, they give them to their families, to their friends. So if the president is going to ensure that is well implemented, then it's a step in the right direction. But then, obviously, the beneficiaries will not be happy. Because if it's part of if I earn 2,000 cedis and my fuel allowance is 2,000 cedis, and you cancel it, it's 50% of my remuneration. So I'll fight back. I have to find other means of find other means of making it up. So it's not an easy thing the president has said. Maybe some of us, if we were not, I would say that we could have helped to identify the areas that should be addressed before this becomes something acceptable. But those very appointees that the government expects to accept this one will not. Because if I've spent so much money, gone through whatever, and now you've appointed me, and my salary is, say, 10,000, 20,000, and I'm benefiting from this, and you are cutting it suddenly without engaging me, then you are asking for trouble. And when it comes to policy analysis, maybe we have to go to academic a bit, because I don't have the opportunity to do it. You see, we have what we call street-level bureaucrats. When it comes to implementing policies, they are the ones who implement the policies. And mostly, you will talk about your appointees, but the street-level bureaucrats are maybe the directors, the senior managers, and so. If the appointee is going to be affected, it will cascade down. They will be denied this allowance, and they are going to implement this policy. Do you think they will? And this is why we always have the problems here. We come out with beautiful policies, but we don't see how it is implemented. So if the government looks at the implementation of these policies, maybe it will take some time, but the way it is implemented will lead to the effectiveness of this policy in reducing the government expenditure. But we may not see the significance of the government expenditure, but when we sit down and analyze through the MDAs, MMDAs, state-owned enterprises, we will see that it's a huge budget. And so it's a good thing that the government has said, but it's the implementation that will make the difference.
Yeah, I actually wanted to ask a question.
Yes.
I mean, what we are expected to rake in for this fuel levy, we are expected to rake in 5 to 6 billion Ghana cedis annually from this 1 cedi levy on every liter of fuel. 5 to 6 billion Ghana cedis. We owe about in excess of 4 to 5 billion dollars, but we are expecting 5 to 6 billion cedis every year from this fuel levy. Now, a lot of people are saying that, look, okay, we've seen a reduction in the prices of fuel since your since this administration took over, and that's because of the performance of the city. When you go to some OMCs, they are selling a liter of petrol for as low as 10 point something. As low, a few months ago it was around 15. Now it's 10 point something. So people are saying that yes, of course they wouldn't have loved that this bill comes to place, this levy comes to place, but they are looking at accountability. Government should take the citizen every step of the way through what this money is being used for. So if really we are seeing that the taxes are working, they are doing what they're supposed to do. ESLA was supposed to do this, it was collateralized. So if this is not going to be collateralized also, if we are going to see that it is used for what it has been allotted for, then we do not have a problem with it. That is the argument that some persons have made. You can call it an argument of goodwill, by the way.
Yes. It's an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
A paradox that difficult to really understand what is happening to our country and in general Africa, the direction of our countries. Where are we? Ghanaians are naturally quiet. And so when they are quiet, don't take them for granted though. They are quiet. So if you are enjoying, be interested in finding out why are you quiet. If you tell a Ghanaian person, please, a child, sit here, the child will not say anything. Willingly will sit. Tell that child the same thing to another child, a Nigerian or that, why are you telling me not to sit here? But a Ghanaian, he will sit there, but one day, you see what will happen to you. That will be deadly. So for this tax, I don't have a problem. If that's the only means for us to raise income. But just like Doug indicated, look, I can tell you, some people will be worse off. Because per my salary computations, there's a percentage. In fact, I don't drive government vehicle. I drive my own car. But maybe there's a portion that you're giving to me as allocation for fuel allowance. So if you scrap that thing, take that thing out, what you have done, in essence, you have reduced my disposable income. You've worried me. But on one breath, you have reduced. Then, in the same breath, you have increased fuel prices. So double agony. Plus double agony. You reduce my disposable income through your cancellation. Now I go to fuel pump, price have gone up. How many Ghanaians will not be happy when it gets there and then the price of fuel gone down drastically? Who will be happy? But look at different jurisdictions, Africa and the rest of the world. Your conversation will tie into this. Why is that in Africa, to be precise, anytime there's an announcement for fuel increase or levy or something, people die. We go on demonstration. We do it. Why? Other countries, they go through the same thing. But you often don't hear, maybe one or two, you don't. But here, people die. A lot of property things will be destroyed because of announcement of a levy or a tax of a sort.
Because the impact is
in Kenya,
it's felt. The impact is often felt. And two, also because they don't see the corresponding effect of what you take from them in terms of development. If you're using the funds well, and it ties into what you said, if you're using the funds well for developing our roads, infrastructure, hospitals, schools, and the rest, who complain? Nobody. But when the government mentioned that I'm going to cancel, I would have laughed. Look, these are the ministers and how much we pay in terms of fuel allocations. If I reduce this or cancel this, the nation will get X amount of money. That will be taken care of in our revenue stream. But nothing. It's just a matter of how is it going to compute all this? Do you know how much it is? We don't know. Fuel, per what you said, they intend to get 5 billion or so.
5 to 6 billion.
The fuel fuel contribution to our revenue, our budget. It's about between 4.5 billion annually by the Ministry of Finance.
Yeah.
So if you want to bring this, you are telling you are going to increase your revenue stream.
Yeah.
But think about its impact. Yeah. Have you measured the impact? Having gotten revenue, what will happen? So we are saying that we don't have any problem if the government wants to increase revenue. If the only means, fine. But if there are other means of getting revenue to help our country, we should focus on. Yeah. We are talking about a big push. It's a game changer. 24-hour economy. It's a game changer. Why are we late on all these implementations? And then we are talking about taxes.
Maybe I'm not going to wear the government's cap, but then I think what Prof is saying. See, if you may say things, but when you are in the shoes, okay. So before the president or the government came into power, they would have said what Prof was saying.
No, they should know their side. They
would have said what Prof is saying. But when you are there,
you see the reality.
I see the reality, because now what Prof is saying, other means of revenue, you analyze everywhere, and you see that there's no avenue anywhere. There's no end. So you talked about
you realize that I said if that's only means,
yes,
then that is fine.
Yes.
If they don't have any other, then that's the only way they want to read. That's so.
But is it not also, Prof? Is it not also? I mean, you were talking about the fact that government is late with the implementation of some of its policies, like the big push, like the 24-hour economy and all of that. But are we not also looking at the urgency of the situation? Look at the power sector. We would have faced.
That's where I was.
We would have faced the power crisis.
Let me land. You see, when the president came out with a big push, and I said, "Oh, very good idea." But then we say in tree. So all this big push, last time when I drove to Cote d'Ivoire, even my 10-year-old daughter, when we drove from here to the border, she felt it took so long. But then when we crossed the border, the road, everything was asphalted from the border to Abidjan. But then, you know what they had? These speed cameras. You can't go beyond the limit. So you know what my daughter said? If we had these roads in Ghana, and then you would have reached Abidjan in 30 minutes. You know what she was saying? What she was saying was also, she was also condemning me. That in Ghana, I was speeding, but the road wasn't good. But in Cote d'Ivoire, the road is good, you cannot speed. But then I would say that the reason why I'm saying is that we've got a lot of projects to ensure that we have dualizations to allow us to increase our productivity. But at the moment, the only way of getting there is the financing or revenue. We don't have any other means of revenue because of the fact that we don't have access to the external financial markets. The only means is to find a way of generating government revenue. Unfortunately, the productive sector of our government is not functioning. If you take all the SOEs, they are not functioning. So where would the government get the revenue? Prof talked about the fact that we should add value to our exports. When are we going to achieve that? When we need the money now. You need the money, like I said. So you need the money to be able to get add value to your exports. You need the money to dualize your roads to the hinterlands so that your food will be carted to Accra at a reasonable cost, so that your materials will be shipped to the factories or the mining centers at reasonable cost. What is required is the means to leapfrog this our problem, and that is the money. Unless we get the World Bank to come and fund what we need to get there. At the moment, we only have revenue. So the government has to engage the people more, like the president did with the labor. It's a matter of engaging the people, getting the people to realize the situation on the ground, and that we need to sacrifice. But sacrificing doesn't mean that you deny the person of everything. So it's an engagement. It's an engagement.
Of this whole PPP arrangement.
The IPP.
Yes.
The
private participation is a brilliant idea.
I have 100 cities as a government to construct a road.
Yeah.
That's the cost of the road. But as a government, I can't cover the 100 cities.
Yes.
So I do an arrangement, PP. Okay, I can contribute 50. You also contribute 50. That makes up the 100 to take care of. Invariably, what you have done, you have saved other 50 to push another project.
Yes.
So you only will invest 50. The PP arrangement also brings 50. Having to consolidate that road.
Yes.
So that could be another form. So many forms are there. And I'm not the one to suggest to this administration. Anytime you are voted into an administration, you need to go beyond. Today I am not sitting in, I'm not in government. So maybe I can sit here and say whatever. But that's why we're also citizens.
Yes.
You should take some of this small advice. It might not be, we might not know everything. But I'm sure there are a lot of avenues apart from the tax where I sit.
Prof, I think this topic I said is a very important topic. I would still use the example of Cote d'Ivoire. When I went to Cote d'Ivoire, I drove on a 330-kilometer road in about 3 hours because there was motorway from Abidjan to Boaké. I added up the toll and converted it to cities, and I realized that they are paying for it.
You're paying.
We do not want to pay for it. So if you go and engage a PPP, the very people, the same people will come and say that it's so expensive. Because, for example, when I went from Abidjan to Boaké, the 330 kilometers, I paid 4,000 CFA. CFA will be around between 18 to 20 cities, 1,000 CFA. Okay? So for on a 30-kilometer road, I would have paid 80 cities.
Wow.
80 cities, my return the same.
Wow.
And then when I was on the motorway, I realized that the traffic was not how it would be in Ghana. Because most of the people who would have driven in their 4x4s or whatever will take the public transport, the bus. Because if you are paying 160 for a return journey from Accra to Sunyani, yes, most people will park their cars, but then the public transport is working and everybody is happy. I mean, I could go and return from 5 a.m. I could go spend about 10 hours where I was going and return the same day to Abidjan. It's something good. And then if the public transport is working, that is the if. If you do that and your public transport is not working, you have a problem. So there are a lot of conditions to satisfy. Okay, so the PPP is a brilliant idea because of our, I would say, our upbringing. We are used to social stuff, free. And it will be very difficult to get the Ghanaian to accept. When I heard the president saying you pay 1 CD for the toll that he's going to reintroduce, I was sitting there and saying, hey, be careful. I was sitting there saying that I wish I could talk to the president. Why do you tell the Ghanaian 1 CD for the toll? The cost of implementation is more than the 1 CD you earn. And I was, when Amakota removed most of the tolls, I fought so much. Whenever I traveled to Kumasi, I took a picture and posted on my LinkedIn and complained that you are punishing the people rather than taxing them. Why would I spend 30 minutes, 1 hour to pay 1 CD? What are you trying to do? So we need to, the politics, and the politics is so skewed towards satisfying the people. But we have to ensure that the people appreciate the reality on the ground. You need the money to construct the road, because if your road is a bottleneck, your whole economy, and as I said, Adam Smith, is there the propensity to track and batter? That's natural for every human being. If you only think of that, you don't need to look at government providing. You are only just looking at how to ensure that the negative externalities are taken care of. So let everybody do what he can to get what he needs. That is what Adam Smith was saying. But we lost. We didn't think about this when we were doing our econometrics and all that. But this is the basic function, principle of economics. Just look at how to make sure everyone, whether the person is handicapped or the person is very productive, let the person do what the person wants to get, what he wants to do to get what he needs. And the governance will be easier. But we are here. You look at somebody in farming. How does he get the goods to Accra or Kumasi? By the time whatever is produced gets to Kumasi, the price would have been 10 times. But what he gets will be a fraction. Okay? If the road was that good, that would have been, and that is what they've done in our neighbor. When you go there, my wife told me, I'm being beaten by food. When you went to Abidjan for 1 week, everywhere you go, a lot of food, they offer you a lot of food. And when you are driving, you see a lot of food everywhere. They are on the roadside. And the cost, even though their cost of living, their standard of living will be higher than ours, because if you look at their salaries and their food, it's a fraction. And even their rent, it's a fraction of what they are. So their economy, even though we always blame them that the French has influence, they've managed their economy very well. The basis of economies are working. Out here, it's distorted. Distorted, like for example, this fuel thing we are talking about. There's a lot. We have a lot of implications. In an economy that is working, this would not have been an issue. Yes, so we have a long way to go, but the government's hands are tied, and the revenue, where should it come from? It's a $1 million question.
Right.
Yes.
I've received several messages from you, but after this short break, I'll get into some of them, some of the messages that you have shared with me, and then we'll proceed on other conversations. There's still many, many important things to discuss here on Good Morning Africa. Do stay.
Hello, Madam Bola. How are you and how is Lagos?
Kwame, Lagos day. How is Accra?
Accra is fine. We can't complain. Are my fabrics on the way?
Yes, sir. I hope my money is also on the way.
As we speak, my accountant is sending money to you and others at GCB.
Money don't enter.
That is a lifesaver.
Yeah, Lady D. What's up, baby?
Tia, I got the money.
Oh, that's beautiful. It was fast.
Oh, and guess what? It was so easy and faster than I thought.
I'm busy right now. Let me call you back later, yeah? All right. Love you, baby.
See you soon. Bye.
From country to country, make seamless transactions across Africa with GCB. For more information on PAPS and how to get started, call toll-free on 0800 422 422.
GCB, your bank for life.
Right, welcome back. Still having that conversation about the 1 cedi levy on petroleum products, but you've sent me lots of messages. Let me get into them. This one here says that, good morning, Prof, please can you give me 3 ways that governments can acquire revenue to govern the nation as a professor? My name is Kamba Rindolph, watching you live from outside Ghana. Kamba, which part of outside Ghana are you watching from?
There's a million question
Abladi, if you Kuma said, if MPP had done this sentence of scrapping fuel allowance for government appointees, and MPP would have gotten 38% in 2024 general election. Okay, I think this has got to do with what the minority in parliament has said, their opinion on this, the scrapping of the fuel subsidies. So yesterday, one of them said it was settings. It was just settings. But I listened to him, and then his reason for saying that is because of the fact that there's a pump. There's a pump at the Flagstaff House. There's a fuel pump at the Flagstaff House. So you may have come to tell us that, okay, you've taken this decision. But what really is going on in the Flagstaff House that perhaps you don't know? There are no experts to know whether you are still feeling V8s or appointees with that fuel from the pump. And so that is the argument from the minority as well. This one here also says that bless you, are making a lot of sense this morning, but the technocrats in the studio don't see it. Oh, they've seen you too. We are on the same page.
We are discussing your concerns.
Well, Tanko from Bintiri in the Northeast region says the discussion is good, but the D levy is good, from 17 above per litre, and it's 10. There's something good about it. Cancelling fuel allowance is also good. We voted for them to help us not to be enjoying in their position. They should use those allowances to complete our Eastern Corridor road to link Togo and Burkina Faso for us to do business. The Prof has been asking, how much money, what is the percentage? How much money are we making from that? Is it going to be enough to complete that Eastern Corridor road? I mean, that's another question altogether, but this coming from Tanko. This one here is Ernest Kwashi Everlove has decided to share his opinion on another issue. The Chief Justice, he says the suspended Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Gertrude Tokono, heading to ECOWAS Community Court of Arbitration, is citing a breach of a fundamental human right, raised legal concern, hence speaks ill of our legal jurisprudence and procedural system. This embattled Chief Justice, in my candid and considered viewpoint, has flagrantly violated constitutional laws and its inherent provisions, especially Article 146 with utter impunity. The case is pending in the apex court of the land for expedited determination. Why is she running from one place to another seeking for justice? Why does she no longer trust the court she superintended anymore? A litigant that doesn't just go to court because he has the right to do so. You must go to court with very compelling facts and evidence that can be admissible in your affidavit. Written by Ernest Kwashivala from Dansuma. Thank you, Ernest, for your message. Good morning, Pan-African TV and the panel. We are now feeling the reset agenda. The president has scrapped the allocation of the fuel subsidy for all appointees and has directed the Attorney General to investigate his own party members. Please, I'm appealing to the President to extend the Galamsey investigation to the previous government appointees and the MPP members whom the Professor Frimpong Boateng pronounced from Amos in Asinfo. So thank you, Amos, for your message. This one here also says, Master Planner, President Mohammed's decision to scrap the fuel allowance of his appointees is a good call, but it is one of the PR and for the Cameras agenda. Even the code of conduct he launched some months ago are being stepped on like a carpet by his appointees. The Dumso levy has started today. Ghanaians are watching closely. Master Planner Junior Policy Analyst from Kintampo. Thank you very much for your message. The 1 Ghana cedi per litre energy levy is a painful but necessary corrective measure, a lawful response to the economic wreckage left by the Akufo-Addo regime, whose fiscal recklessness ballooned our debt to unsustainable levels. To those suddenly finding their voices, how else do you propose we pay off debts incurred through illegal procurement breaches, sole sourcing scandals, and reckless loan agreements? Let's support the government of the day to help us. Daniel Akpaliok from Sandema. Talk about goodwill. I said, talk about goodwill. Yes, that's one of the goodwill messages.
Yes, that's it.
Right. This one here says, Chief Justice should keep quiet because nobody will listen to her again. Enough is enough of the noise. She has filed the case against the commander of the Ghana Armed Forces. That is President John Mahama Tekowa's court. We shall see who is who. Minority leader in the person of Honorable Apenyo Makin, Mavis Awakumse, and Chief Justice Getu Tokonu are seeking for the downfall of President Mahama and the NDC party, but it won't work. Greetings to William Vigno and Ibrahim Jaja, the two vice chairman of NDC party of Greater Accra. Okay, right. Thank you very much for the message. On to this one. Bless, can the NPP tell us what they realized from the 30% cut in salary and 50% fuel coupon and what they did with that money? NPP don't have that capacity to ask the questions they're asking now. Hypocrites. Stephen from Kwabenya sent this one. Please, Bless, if Prof is asking how much will be saved from this initiative, then let him tell us how much was saved from Akufo-Addo's 50% fuel cuts. and 30% salary cut. He should be able to tell us because that has already been done. Foster, if Kufuridi has sent this one, okay, thank you, Foster. Prof has.
It's fine.
Good morning, boss. Mohammed Adams in Kumasi. The fuel levy is a welcoming and laudable idea to foster development in the country. Resetting Ghana is on course. Okay, thank you for your message. So, I mean, like I said, so many messages of goodwill. It says, good morning to you and your panelists. President John Mahama's administration is the best so far, considering the number of interventions of capping our government expenditure. Most appointees were just wasting the fuel unnecessarily without doing anything. The fuel allowance scrapped will help build school dormitories for students, build schools and healthcare centers for the people. Let's pray for the president to succeed. The fuel levy will not only help the government resolve the power crisis, but will also help uplift the energy sector to the benefits of Ghanaians at large. Sir Idris from Savilugo sent this one. Let me read two more. Good morning, Pan-African TV. The citizenry has no problem with the fuel levy, but woe betide government if the funds are not used for the right purpose. I mean, that's a good one. Yeah. Good morning, Bless. The cancellation of fuel to government appointees is in the manifesto of the NDC when it was in opposition. All government appointees knew before accepting appointments. Have they complained? No. From CJ in Koku. Somebody said they should also cancel clothing allowance. That's this coming from my good friend Ken Williams. Yes. You know, government must also cancel allowance for clothing, entertainment,
that's true,
house helps, gardeners, foreign travels, and gymnasium, since many public workers take less than 5,000 cedis monthly without allowances for housing, transport, or healthcare. What's worse is that even some allowances are more than the pensions of teachers, nurses, and civil servants who get less than 30,000 cedis after working for 30 years. So that's a sad one, by the way. Good morning, Ken Williams. We need to get in touch. All right. So these are some of the views that you have shared with us on Facebook and on our WhatsApp. There are scores of you also watching from YouTube or watching on YouTube. Thank you so much for your time.
Before you end that cancellation, but one aspect that I'm interested in,
right,
is to limit these government appointees from the usage of this unnecessary usage of air conditions in their car.
Yes.
That's going to prevent them. Sometimes they have a program. I'm not talking about only this administration, previous administrations. You see a Land Cruiser packed.
Yes.
The driver will be in a program.
Of course.
And for about 2 hours when the man will have to come back,
I've experienced that.
the driver will sit in the driver You go, the person is sleeping in air condition for 2 hours or so.
Because he doesn't pay for it.
He doesn't pay.
He doesn't feel it.
Yeah. That's for that. I've experienced it myself.
You see,
go for an event and then for the car is on for 2-3 hours. I was somewhere like that.
You see the water dripping from the car, and there's no moving.
Yeah.
you know, this morning a radio station in Kuforidia called me, and we're having this discussion. So I said that, you know what we are doing now? There were things being done by the colonial officials. Only our leaders wanted to be in the same shoes.
Yeah.
So when we drove them away, we are occupying that. And we are cherishing it so much that we don't want to part with it. So what the president is doing or saying are things in the right direction. But as to achieving them is another, because the person went there to benefit from this. And the person has invested so much. The way we finance our politics here, the person has to spend so much. I knew somebody who had to sell his house in the UK just to enter politics. And I was looking at him and said, hey, I love my country, but I wouldn't like to invest so much just to get into office. But then if you go, you sell your house, and you enter politics, what will you do?
You want to
recoup your money.
Yeah.
And so anything that the president says that will prevent you from doing that, you will not listen to it. So we need to look at
other avenues.
Of course, and that's what I was going to say. This cancellation will lead or appointees to other areas of making up through contracts, whatever you call it. They will find it because he has invested so much in order to get there. And his family will ask him, but in this house you sold, how do we get the money back? And it's something that we need to appreciate, that there's no free lunch anywhere. So we will need to look at the way we finance our politics in the country before we can do what the government is doing. Because the very people that you've appointed, they've lost so much and they are trying to recoup. So you need to plug all the loopholes before you can do that. You cancel fuel and then it goes to contracts or something else, accommodation. You have so many of these areas to look at. And fuel is just a fraction. Accommodation, you have it. Like entertainment, the DSTV at the Jubilee House. If you extend it to the whole public sector, it's a lot of money. So these are things that, and I've always argued that we are living the colonial way. If you go to the UK, the government scrapped this long time ago. Even an MP had to resign because his claim for travel. They investigated and found that he had inflated it. He had to resign. You have to go and claim specifically for what you've done. You are not giving allowance that you don't need. So we need to move away from our colonial lifestyle and then face the reality, because we don't have the luxury. And as I was saying, the government's hands are tied. And it doesn't matter whether you belong to MPP or NDC, you have to realize it. We don't have no means of correcting or addressing the urgent areas for our economy to thrive. We don't have the means. So it's a serious issue we are facing. It's a dilemma. Either you tax or
let's move away from fuel. Let's move on to another issue. An issue that already is a scar on, or a dent on this government's reign so far. The Ablekuma North rerun of some 19 polling stations. No deaths were recorded as happened in the 2020 general elections, but we are a country that wants to depart. Well, that is me saying this is a matter, it's a debatable matter as to whether we would want to truly depart from the politics of vigilantism that has seeped and burrowed into our fiber over the last 3 decades when we started this fourth Republican dispensation. political vigilantism has been one of the banes of our democracy, if I should put it that way. So what happened last Friday at Ablekuma North, very regrettable. We condemn it. All of us have, everybody has condemned it. I know the Vice President has also come out to condemn it. But I've always asked the question, is this not a creation? Is this not a monster that we have created ourselves? Both political parties have created this particular monster. And one suffers it when it is in opposition. One inflicts it on the other when it is in power. And as soon as power changes hands, the one that was the sufferer of that political vigilantism becomes the doer, now becomes the party that inflicts it on the other party. Now we are being told by the NPP that in 2028, when God permits, and if they become the government of the day, they are going to do the same. So we are doing vindictive politics that is seeped and burrowed in political vigilantism. Let me hear from you, sir.
Thank you, blessing. I think I was scandalized and saddened, and I just felt that we are going back to the 52, 54, before independence, the CPP and then UP struggle. So if we sacrifice so much to get to where we are and benefiting from the democracy we have, why do our politicians take us back to 1954, 56, when the UP and CPP were at each other's throats, and there was always killings in the country? I think, well, like I said before, is the way we do our politics in this country. And we have the EC, and deliberately we do not give the EC adequate powers. I wrote an article that I sent to Graphic on Monday on this. And the thing is, I compared the constitutional functions of the electoral commissions of South Africa, Nigeria, and Ghana. If you look at Nigeria, the IEC, INEC, is very powerful, but because of corruption and maybe political interference, they are not able to implement. If you look at Ghana, the functions are basic, centered on registration of voters, and then conduct of elections, and then the boundaries demarcation. And when you go and find out why is that, you trace it to 1969. The constitutional provisions of 1969 have not been changed up to today. In 1969, it was a parliamentary, when they drafted it, it was a parliamentary system with I think the former president's dad was the president, and it was more or less ceremonial. And then we have the prime minister. So the provisions for that system is what we still use. So you had that at that time, that ceremonial president was appointing the Electoral Commission. That was fine, because that person was not the executive. The person in charge was the prime minister, the head of government. So that was fine. You move away to a presidential system and you use that system to run your politics. Would that work? It's not working. And that is why we have the president in the Fourth Republic. We've had presidents sacking and hiring EC officials whenever they come. When you do that, you dilute their independence. They cannot enforce the functions or the responsibilities that they have been given. So, like I said, if we look at Nigeria, they've done so well to bring their functions up to what it should be, but unfortunately, they are not able to enforce it because of political interference and the fact that they've also repeated what we've got in our constitution, even though they've improved on it. Presidential appointment the advice of Council of State. But Nigeria has gone a step higher by asking for the confirmation of the Senate, where the Senate checks whether the person you are appointing is a person of integrity, and the person is impartial. We don't do that. Everything is shrouded in secrecy. The government comes out, made appointments. When the appointment is made, whether the Council of State is constituted or not, we don't know. And this time, the Council of State was not, we hadn't had the elections. So the Council of State was not constituted when these appointments were made. So were there consultations or advice? Nothing. So we need to look at the fundamentals. That is where our problems are. And this is why we are having what we have now. Because everything is based on money. Everything has been monetized because the EC is not able to regulate the political parties. Okay? And even if you go to the Constitution, you will see that we've listed the constitutional provisions we have for Electoral Commission, we have for political parties. If you look at the Electoral Commission, you have the functions, which are the responsibilities. Then you go to the parties. You have Article 55, looking at the organization of political parties. Most of the clauses there are to be overseen by the Electoral Commission. There's no reference to that. So we've made the provisions. The parties have to do this, submit this. Their finances have to be monitored. But in the functions of the Electoral Commission, it's not clearly stated. So there was, just before the elections, the graphic held the function for the Electoral Commissioner. The Deputy Electoral Commissioner was narrating all the things they had done before the elections. So I asked him, have you looked at their expenditure? Have you looked at their financial statements? He was flawed. He said that Parliament will have to do that. Meanwhile, it's provided for in our Constitution. Only we have not made it watertight. And if you go to the Nigerian Constitution, it's there. But they don't have the money. The Electoral Commission doesn't have the, because of political interference, they cannot enforce it. For us in Ghana, fortunately for us, we've been able to iron out a lot of things so that what we have in the Constitution, the functions, are being implemented. But what bites? The functions that bite are lacking in our Constitution. So the Electoral Commission cannot sanction any political party, even though they are supposed to do it. So most of the things that they are doing, for example, the vigilantism and these hoodlums doing things, we should find a way that and come out and say that if a political party does such a thing, this is a sanction. So that we will stop all these things. Because what we have, it's so beautiful. But these things going out to erode these irregularities is what we have to do. I mean, if we don't do that, and as I say, we are going back to 1954, when CPP and the UPs were enemies. They were not opponents, they were enemies. And this is where we are heading to. And even though I wasn't born at that time, I was born in the 60s, that time maybe it was going down because it was one government. So political party activities were not like that. But if I read what happened then, if we want to get there, maybe some of us will run away from this country because it's not palatable. And every Ghanaian must rise, whether you are MPP or NDC, where we are going is not the place for us and our children, our future generation. So we need to look at our electoral system and ensure that the political parties are regulated. At the moment, they are not being regulated. Their finances, their internal operations are not being regulated. And it's been left to Parliament. But Parliament cannot do it. We need an independent body. Even if we don't want the EC to do it, we have to get another body to look at how we regulate the affairs of political parties in this country. Until we do that, it will always be turntable. Like you said, MPP comes, they do it, NDC comes, they do it. And the average person, like me, we are the ones that we are going to suffer because we have nowhere to go. And on my retirement, I want to see if I can enjoy maybe the 20 years that maybe God may give me. And then you come and die in my country. Where will I go? So please, I'm praying that every Ghanaian should try and be dispassionate about this and ensure that this is corrected as soon as possible. It doesn't matter whether you are NDC or MPP. Yes.
I want to find out from you, are you hopeful? I mean, the IGP, the Inspector General of Police, and the Attorney General have been encouraged to probe the Ablekuma North disturbances. Also, 2 days ago, the Interior Minister, in a briefing, he touched on it and he said whether if the corporates were from NDC or MPP, it didn't matter their political coloration; they will be dealt with. Are you confident? Are you hopeful that these comments made by the Interior Minister, Honorable Muntaka, and the IGP, the Attorney General, would see the light of day? Will these people be truly prosecuted, or they'll be allowed to go off the hook, as we've done, as we have seen with past governments? In 2020, 8 people were killed in the elections. Where are the corporates right now, the perpetrators of that crime? Nothing has been done to them, really. We saw the Ayawaso West were gone by election and things that happened. We saw the faces of people who inflicted violence on people. Nothing has happened to them. We remember Etiwa in 2008. There are several examples of electoral violence, political vigilantism that have happened, and the administration that takes over never, absolutely never, does anything about them. How confident are you that this is going to be a different situation altogether?
I realize that at the point that you are charging. No. So I'm happy. Yes. That all of us. In fact, I decided not to talk on this issue just because the space is quiet. Everybody is quiet. After, what happened? We want to sleep. The next day, we want to sleep. Everybody is sleeping. We don't care about what is happening in the country. So it's difficult to even comment on such issues. Because who will hear you? And who will implement? That's a Ghanaian. So you ask me, person, that everything will fall in place, that it's workable. I'm not a negative person, so always very. In fact, I'm always positive. Topic you gave us. I also want to ask a question: who has edged them? IGP, who? IGP, AG. They have been urged to investigate. Who has hedged them? Civil society, affected people in that community, political parties. So maybe we can come clear. Who is now ordering them? How many days after the event now they've been ordered? The police people, where are our ministers? It's $1 million question we cannot answer. Yes. Who is urging them to act now? Is it the president, civil society, police, people in that comment that were thrown into the public? They've been urged to investigate. It's fine. It's not too late to investigate. But at this stage, where are you going to find those people? You know, I don't know, but we are gradually moving to a stage of anarchy, stage of confusion. when you want to talk about this, NDC, MPP will give you an account. You start from Atiwa, Yechobi Kakra. This one will start from Ayawaso. This person will start from there. This person will start from that. We will not resolve the issue. The same thing. And you are giving picture of events over the period. But you see, the political and electoral violence, they undermine democracy in any generation. These two things will often undermine your democracy. Look at the ratings. Very some ratings will come. And we use the ratings to borrow money. Whatever we are doing, it translates into money. We think that, oh, they went and beat her and then they vandalized the whole place and people had to go somewhere. But they sometimes forget. All these things are indicators that do translate into money. If you're looking for an investor to come and invest in your country, he watches that video. It's gone.
Look at the list of invitation of the U.S. president. Ghana should have been on it. Senegal was on it. Why were we missing on that list?
It's gone. And we're here happy. Oh, okay, let's continue. Today, it's translating into fuel. Increment in prices of fuel. Because the investor has failed to bring money into your country to invest because you see violence all over the place. What happens? So we have to be careful. In fact, public safety and rule of law always must be upheld. Public safety and rule of law always must be upheld.
That's the essence of government, having a government.
If you don't do that, what are we doing? Today, I must move from my house to my office without anybody blocking me or harming me. That must be. I mean, by default, I must do that. When you prevent me, you've taken something away from me.
The freedom of movement.
On that day, I was on set to have said that morning, I think on Joy, so station. You asked me about this, and I said, well, I'm not into political matters, but the point is that we have a nice characteristic of any by-elections or election. We stand calmly in the morning.
And then
in the afternoon, the heat picks up a bit. Then in the evening, chaos. That's been the nature. So when you see in the morning is calm, don't
conclude
take for granted.
Don't conclude that everything is well.
Now, two bodies, they have been ordered. I don't know whether by the president or his comment, but it's good they have been ordered now to go in. It's not too late. These two bodies, one, AG, IGP, they will investigate. And then AG will prosecute. I'm sure that is their own.
I'm not cutting you. Do you know how many people would have resigned by now if we were in the UK?
Of course.
Those people who are being asked, like the IGP would have been the first to go. The Minister of Interior would have. And you see, this is why their system works. And like Prof's question.
They attach seriousness to.
Yes, Prof's question. Who urged them to do that? The people should, that very day, the people should urge the president to do something. If we think we are NDC and we are not urging our president to do it, we will have ourselves to blame in the end. This thing is not NPP, NDC matter. We are all in it. We are all in it. So we have to be responsive as a people. Everything that affects us, we have to respond. If you think that my party is in power, so they can go and kill whoever, and then you don't care, I mean, you are not looking into the future. It's like you said, they are waiting for their turn to come and do the same. And who the poor person like me will suffer in the end, because we don't have the means for protection.
I'm not even looking at the NDC people here. I'm talking about public safety and rule of law. These two bodies, one will investigate and one will prosecute. It's taking them how many days? And he said, other jurisdictions, they would have resigned by now.
And the videos are there.
Yeah.
The videos are there for you to identify the perpetrators of that crime.
Someone could jump like a cricket or whatever.
And that the film, what is it called? The Superman.
Superman.
Yeah. I didn't know we have Superman in Ghana.
And we watch all this. 19 polling stations. Mere 19.
Couldn't secure.
Now we are taking this habit to Akotia. Then from there, 2028, we carry the same habit. What are we teaching our generation to come? Is that how our forefathers they taught us as a country? Why are we growing these characters? Look, these two bodies, they've been urged to investigate. Okay, that's fine. Count the number of cases they have at the moment pending in the offices. Why would you want to add this? Why don't you prevent from happening? They should add this. Look at the Supreme Court, the judges they recruited recently, who went for the interview. Recently, we said I think the Supreme Court maybe overload, a lot of work. I think files have been piled up, a lot of cases. So they need more judges to sit and take care of those cases. And you tell IGP and the rest to investigate, add this to the number of cases AG they have at the moment. We should have prevented it from happening in the first place.
When you have the videos, everything. You are not going to investigate.
It's no solution. And after today, another issue happened in our country. This all discussion. We'll not hear anything.
Talk about it and forget. That's what we do.
We'll not hear anything about it.
Talk.
But look, I was enthused from the beginning when I heard resetting agenda. I thought we're coming clean the slate. Akotio, Edenyo, everything. Now today, this year, we will not record these incidents anymore. Resetting. This electoral violence is not part of. Resetting cannot take care of this.
No, this is constitutional. If you go drill down, it's the I see it as constitutional. We have to go and see how we can regulate the political parties. It's like football. You can't go and when we're playing football before, we just if someone has the ball, you do whatever to the person. Now you see the person taking the ball, you cannot even go and attack the person. That is how it should be. Yes, there are rules. And we have to make sure they are working. Now the political party do things, they get away with it.
I do you, you do me, or whatever, my brother. It won't help this country. Look, today is someone's mother. The other day at Ayawasa was someone's brother. One day, you'll be the one spot. Public safety. If a gun had been shot that day, if the other person had brought in other troops, look, we won't be sitting here today. But those who will visit families, we give them some rice. Take care of yourself.
Yes, and then
the lives that would have been lost, the dreams that would have been shattered by these small kids or the boys or the family. Some could be a breadwinner, and when he passes on, the entire family is gone. As a result of it, just go and vote. Must turn into violence. You have one vote. Go and cast your vote. That's the order. What happened? And this same attitude over the period, bless if this is not curtailed. And he said, if we don't regulate these political parties, we are finished. 19 polling stations. The next few months, we are going for another by-election.
And that one, if the NPP...
And you know the terrain already, some years back, when Honorable, I've forgotten his time at Akotia. You know, you have the history already in Akotia. It's a hostile environment.
I've seen some functionaries of the NPP come out to say that they are also going to get their men together, Delta Force.
And that's anarchy. That's anarchy.
Anarchy.
Anarchy. So you see, like it's the same as football.
Yeah.
You buga buga.
Yeah,
We should stop this buga buga that we are having now.
My time is nearly up, but let me take time to do a few messages before I say goodbye. Alhaji Hamza from Pig Farm says, good morning, my brother. Permit me to use this opportunity to commend President Muhammadu for being a listening president who cares much about the poor Ghanaians. My brother, removal of fuel allowances from all government appointees is a good move by all standards. Government appointees cannot travel in first class. The removal of DSTV and a whole lot is very good. These are all campaign promises fulfilled. Let us all come together to support the president to succeed in the interest of the NDC party. This is what the MPP could not do in 8 years. Thank you, Alhaji Hamza. Good morning to the people of Pig Farm. The chaos at Ablekuma North is a national shame and must be condemned without mercy. The assault on the journalist, Honorable Awakumsi, and many others is barbaric. But let's not pretend to be shocked. This is the monster the MPP created at Ayawa Silvers Wogom when Sam George was assaulted and nothing was done. You can't sow violence and expect peace. Ghana is a democracy and not a battleground for political thuggery. Enough is enough. This madness must stop. Daniel Akbalio from Sandema. Thank you, Daniel, for your message. This one he also says, good morning, bless him. Where was Prof when President Akufo-Addo had a chair in a V8 with a bodyguard? Gives him the chimano. But this as for this issue, this V8 issue, this V8 issue, and the fact that they leave the air conditioners on. Yes. I've seen it before. Last year.
So we'll see when the convoy, the number of convoy in the convoy reduces. Then we'll see that the government, the president is working.
Do you know one of the reasons behind that? So I was up north somewhere early last year, and I experienced that. So went somewhere with a VH, the MP was there, and everybody was there, and then they left it on for the entire program. And this was like 2.5 hours. So apparently, they don't want the situation whereby they'll be under the sun and then they'll come back to the car and then it is hot. So they want it. Big man. But when you turn the AC on, for how long? It doesn't even take long, and then the AC chills again. So that's really not a justification, by the way. Hello, how will this policy change affect the overall compensation package for government appointees? That's a very good question. I think you're talking about the fuel subsidy. My name is Collins. Does the MPP support the call by the Institute of Democratic Governance and the Civic Forum initiative for the Inspector General of Police and the Attorney General to prosecute perpetrators of the violence? That's a very good question. I'll read this final one because my time is up. It's very worrying the rate at which we keep introducing levies and scrapping others, yet unemployment rate in this country keeps skyrocketing, leaving the youth especially out of jobs. This ritual where government over the years has seemed to prioritize collecting from the already vulnerable yet fail to secure alternative livelihoods, support opportunities is getting nauseating. Now, I'm not surprised the youth resort to hooliganism as a means to survive. Let's get serious. Jomo from Pokwase Festus. Thank you so much. It's 10 a.m. That means that I need to go. Thank you so much, Dr. Valentin Mensah. Thank you so much, Professor Isaac Brady, for your time this morning. And to our cherished viewers, it's been a very insightful conversation. I said in the beginning, and then of course we haven't been disappointed. I'll see you same time tomorrow. Until then, have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Hello, Madam Bola. How are you and how is Lagos?
Kwame, Lagos day. How is Accra?
Accra is fine. We can't complain. Are my fabrics on the way?
Yes, sir. I hope my money is also on the way.
As we speak, my accountant is sending money to you and others at GCB.
Money don't enter.
That is a lifesaver.
Yeah, Lady D. What's up, baby?
Tia, I got the money.
Oh, that's beautiful. It was fast.
Oh, and guess what? It was so easy and faster than I thought.
I'm busy right now. Let me call you back later, yeah? Alright. Love you, baby.
See you soon. Bye.
From country to country, make seamless transactions across